You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Milwaukee. This is Ghostfire Media's broadcast of the AOLL Sportsman Series. This is the second race of the round of 12 in their playoffs, and really excited to be here with you tonight. I'm Carl Henderson. Going to be bringing you hopefully a really good race tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. Some things to watch I've got pointed out here. We're going to be looking at fuel runs tonight as usual. Probably about a 35-lap fuel run, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But we've got 100 laps here tonight, so definitely a two-stop race, but the timing of when you take those stops could be interesting. And it's a pretty flat track, so these drivers keeping it, going in a straight line is going to be challenging, especially on corner exit on turn 4. So with that said, let's go ahead and cut over to our qualifying, which is already in progress. And we're seeing Joe Dinsmore here. Currently running his second lap and sitting second on the board. And he is entering turn 3 here. We'll be exiting turn 4. And so far, you see the gold backgrounds up there behind the names. Those are guys who are in the chase. We did, unfortunately, miss broadcasting last week, so we had a few guys that fell out of the standings, but these are all updated, and throughout the race you'll be able to see where the chase drivers are. Let's see if we can find someone else on track. How about Mr. Kevin Moller? Take a look here, and let's actually, we're going to go in car with him here. He's finishing up his first lap. Let's take a look, see what a lap around here is like. And as I said, it's pretty flat, and I'm actually going to switch over to the cockpit camera and take a look at that. But it's flat. You can see he's got a handful there, having to wheel it and put a lot of counter steering in there to keep it straight on corner exit. It's a tough track, and I think you're gonna, track position's gonna be at a premium here tonight. Here he is exiting turn 4, about to finish up his second lap. We'll see where he comes out here. Currently sitting 18th for Kevin Moller. Let's switch over here to Mr. Justin Rodden. Well, yeah, there we go. So Justin Rodden out on track right now, currently finishing up his second lap, and we'll see where he'll place on the board. Currently sitting in 6th, one of the guys not a chase contender, but still sitting up there in the middle of a bunch of guys, and that should move him up. Actually, no, it does not. It was faster than his first lap, but still sitting in 6th place. Well, how about we cut over here to Tarik Shilling, who is looking like he's going to try to just barely squeeze in his laps here as we are winding down on qualifying. I'm actually not sure he is going to have time to finish his laps prior to this. Maybe just be trying to get a practice lap in. I've done that before. As we've got about 5 more minutes in qualifying, or 5 more seconds in qualifying, if I'm reading that correctly. Yep, and there he is off. We are done with qualifying. So let's take a look at our grid. Starting on the pole, we have Justin Anderson, and to his outside, Blake Gordon. In third is Joe Dinsmore, and in fourth, Chris Bissini. Fifth is Brandon Bernhardt, and as you can see there, those top 5 right there, all chase contenders. Sixth, Justin Rodden, and in seventh, Brian Mcfarren. Eighth is Adam Wood, and in ninth, Blake Ziti. 10th is Kevin Moller, and in 11th, Dan Witt. 12th is Andrew Burgess, and in 13th, Josh Laston. 14th is Teddy Weichel, and in 15th, Ed Springer. 16th is the Jews, Greg Girasio. 17th, Mike Burgess, and in 18th, Cody Mitchell, who I saw apparently had tire problems on the way to the race. 19th, we have Chris Oliver, and in 20th, John Gordon. 21st is David Naughton, and in 22nd, Timothy St. Jean. 23rd is Ross Gage, and rounding out the field in 24th, we have Tarik Shilling. So they are starting to pull off here. And they're going to have one pace lap. And as usual, as I always call out on all the races I broadcast, hey, if you're cheering for somebody out there, if there's someone you want to see me focus the camera on, give me a shout out in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We'll do our best to get them on camera and let you see what they're up to. But even on top of that, I love hearing who people are cheering for, who has a fan base out there, because having you guys interact really makes our job a lot more fun. So I'll be honest, I am struggling to find a good camera angle at this track. All of them are pretty awful. So we are going to start with the blimp camera here. That's pretty awful too. Yeah, let's try TV2 here. Give you a good view of the restart as Justin Anderson leads the field to green. Green flag is out, and Justin looked like maybe he had a bad shift there as Blake Gordon is able to kind of hold with him. And that's actually a lot better. Blake has a little bit of his hands full there as Justin Anderson clearly takes the lead and is hanging on to it. No issues. But we still have Chris Bissini there on the outside of Joe Dinsmore, and he's going to want to get down as soon as he can. Oh, that was almost an incident. Chris Bissini either got loose or was just trying to get down, and thankfully we're... there it is. There it is. We have caution. Caution is out. I am not sure what happened there, but let's take a look to see if we can see what happened. So Bissini falls down, sorts back up. They go 4 wide, and let's take a look at the chase camera. So this is with Adam Wood. We're going to rewind one more time and take a look at slower speed here. So we can see Adam is... Yeah, Bissini just came up. There might have been a little bit of netcode there at play. I think Bissini might have thought he was going to have a spot behind Adam Wood there, and that spot just didn't materialize. So that is a tough break there. Oh, and then Adam gets slammed. Let's take one more look at that. Who was that hit him? Man, I did not get a good look at that car. But someone slammed Adam Wood. That might have been that was Cody Mitchell. Unfortunately, folks, that was Cody Mitchell. Tough break for all those guys. It's really unfortunate to have that happen that early. All right, well, let's get back to our live camera. And we had a few takers on pit road. Tim St. Jean came in, and Chris Bissini, of course, Adam Wood, Cody Mitchell. But for the most part, our field has remained the same. Justin Anderson, Blake Gordon up front. And I am really hopeful here, folks, that we're going to have a good, clean race, because this is a track that can produce really good racing. I've been in good races here, so I'm not sure what's happening with the shadows on the pit boxes there. That's unusual. But I know that it can produce good racing, so hopefully we'll maybe we get the jitters out now of whatever happened there, and hopefully we'll be able to have some good racing now. Lights on the pace car are off, which means we will go green flag here momentarily. And as usual, the restarts here, the leader can choose when to restart after the pace car has pulled off, and anytime before the green flag. When the green flag comes out, everybody can go, then whether the leader's gone or not. So pace car pulls off, and Justin Anderson's gone immediately. That was I've never seen, I don't think, a driver go that quickly. But there is a small window here to be able to do it, so he wasted no time. But Blake Gordon, I think he almost predicted that a little bit, and is currently on the inside. Blake Gordon gets his nose in and is fighting to take away the lead. With the way this track is, I think he's going to have it. Ooh, he gets a little loose there, though, and that's going to let Justin Anderson fight back. I thought for sure that he was going to have it there, and he should have it here. Let's go on board here with Justin Anderson. Take a look, see what he's seeing on the Brandon Bernhardt roll bar camera. And man, he is fighting hard for this. Let's see, I guess we have to switch to the TV camera if they're gonna be side by side like that. Go back to our roll bar camera because I want to see, and you see Blake Gordon does clear him there. So our new leader is Blake Gordon, to the surprise of no one, honestly. I mean, Justin Anderson is a great driver, but if he's not going to be the guy leading, I think typically you're expecting Blake Gordon to be the one. So we'll cut back here to one of our TV cameras. We can't count out Joe Dinsmore right now either. He's right there. He is, fighting, in third, coming up on his teammate Justin Anderson really quickly. Going to try to take away that second spot. We'll have to see how courteous he's going to be, as Blake Gordon just set the fastest lap of the race. Blake's on rails right now. So yeah, we're seeing here, you got a bit of a gap between first and second, and then a bit of a gap between third and fourth. But Brandon Bernhardt's fighting, trying to close that gap up between he and Joe Dinsmore, which also is not a huge surprise. Brandon Bernhardt has had a very solid season in both trucks and cup, and I'm sure he would love to just cement that by advancing to the round of 6. Oh, we've got someone that's saying it's crashed. Mike Burgess is having issues. Entered pit lane very quickly. I'm not sure if he towed, but let's take a look real quick, see what happened. So we got Mike Burgess right in the center of our frame. Oh, yep. Just is that exit of turn 4 like we were expecting it to be? No real surprise there. So we've talked about the top 4 a bit. Let's go a little bit further back. Right here in 6th and 5th, we have Justin Rodden and Brian Mcfarren. And I am desperately trying to find a camera that isn't so awful. Let's try the chopper. Okay, that'll work. That's a little bit better. So we'll run our chopper camera here for a little bit. Got Brian Mcfarren in that 7 car, and right behind him, the 01 of Justin Rodden. Those guys have been kind of nose to tail for a little bit, and having a good, quiet, clean start to the race. Go back here, take a look at Big Red. It's Dan Witt, running that Guitar Addict logo on his truck. Once again, very happy to see Dan back. And honestly, I mean, this is, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's had some rough runs since he's returned. But tonight, looking to be like a possible return to form for him. So Big Red might be one to keep an eye on tonight. Right behind him in 8th, got Josh Laston. Still, despite the fact that it's a new paint scheme, with my face on the back of his truck. He's running a Miller Lite scheme, which, from what I understand, was coordinated between he, Adam Wood, and Justin Anderson. So all three of those guys were running Miller Lite schemes. Milwaukee. We got Blake Ziti here running in 9th place, and just behind him, the 77 car or truck of Andrew Burgess, who's fighting here, trying to take away that position, but kind of drove it in a little hard there, lost some time on exit. Ziti able to hold on for now. We'll have to keep an eye out and see if, because Burgess, we're going to stay here for just a second, folks. Burgess is fighting to try to get that position. Getting all the way down on that apron and trying to get a good launch off. While we're focused on that, I'll kick the camera back just a little bit so we can also get in the frame here the 72 of Kevin Moller. And just behind him, we get Greg Gerasio. So those guys battling, but Burgess, I think, was fighting so hard to try to take over 9th place that Moller was able to gain a great deal of time on him. Might have even been able to take care of those tires a little bit more, might be a little bit cooler, and is able to fight for that position a little bit harder. I have someone out there that asked what happened with Cody Mitchell. So Cody said he had some... actually, sorry, folks. Andrew Burgess here making a pass on Blake Ziti. Kevin Moller trying to come right in behind as well. But with Cody Mitchell, he apparently had some issues in real life on the way to get here for the race. Had some vehicle issues and wasn't able to get much practice time in, so had to start a little bit towards the rear. And then I got caught up in a wreck. That wasn't his fault. Really unfortunate, but currently sitting a lap down, I believe. Let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, so he is on track. He used his fast repairs, so I believe he is just one lap down. Yeah, he's just one lap down. So, but he is pitting, it looks like. So Cody Mitchell coming into the pits. Not sure what he's doing there. Let's check back in a bit. So back here with going through the field, Kevin Moller able to completely pass on Blake Ziti as well, who is now under attack from Greg Gerasio in that Ford truck. I'm going to mess that up every time, folks. And look, the 63 of Teddy Weichel there as well. So Ziti has his hands full tonight. I'm going to get down here and let's focus on Teddy Weichel a bit. And actually, we're going to cover to the roll bar camera. Let's see what he's seeing. And, I switched over here because I thought he was about to start making a run at it, but it's like it's still a little bit of a gap. Switch over to the cockpit camera here and see from his helmet cam what he's seeing. And this is the exact view that the driver has in car. So, if they're running VR or something, they might have be able to turn their head a bit, or if they've got multiple screens, they have more field of view. But for the most part, this is what you're seeing front and center as he's fighting to get around Ziti here, and I think he's going to make it work. So Teddy Weichel now passing Ziti, who is now falling back to 13th. And Chris Bissini here after the early issue sitting in 14th. I would imagine has fresh tires. Not like the guys ran the tires off too much, so probably not much of an advantage, but possibly a bit of an advantage. But he did qualify up near the front of the field, so you would expect that he has speed. He's just got to get back up there if he wants any shot at this. So that is Chris Bissini able to make the pass on Teddy Weichel, running in 13th. And then in 15th, we have Ed Springer. Let's actually cut to our chopper cam. Ed Springer, and that's 16. Just going to pull up our driver details as well. I forgot to do that. Ed having a honestly quiet few weeks. Haven't talked about him a ton, which honestly in my book that's a good thing, because usually when the commentators talk about me, it's because I've done something really bad. So really good to see Ed out there just driving along. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with that. Currently running 15th. Go back here to John Gordon in that 19 truck, running in 16th. This is a guy who was just eliminated from the chase, and he has had a pretty good season. I mean, you can't complain about it. But I'm sure he would love to cap the season off. Obviously he won't be able to make it inside the top 12 in points because those guys are separated out now. But I'm sure he'd love to finish the season 13th. So he's going to be fighting for that. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see John Gordon sitting on top of that group at the end of the season. Got Chris Oliver here, who has not run in the truck series in quite a while. He's currently sitting in 17th, and looks like a new paint scheme I haven't seen out of him before. So we'll see if Chris will be able to do anything tonight. And right behind him, we got Tarik Shilling. These two guys battle it out all the time in the TNT series. Oh, Tarik has some issues there. I'm not sure. Tarik almost like he had a bit of tank slapper there. If anybody's familiar with motorcycle terminology, just started to get loose and you correct, and then the suspension of the truck kind of makes it where it just kind of wants to go back and forth. So good that he was able to save that. But Tarik Shilling currently running in 18th. Tim St. Jean right behind him. Tarik had another one of those issues, so he's got his hands full right now. But Tim St. Jean running there in 19th. What did pit earlier, so I have a feeling we're going to see out of Tim what we typically see. Extending out a run, running a different strategy. It's something we've seen out of him over and over and over again. And David Naughton here in the 96 truck, sitting in 20th. That Captain Crunch truck. He's got a bit of a gap between him and Tim St. Jean, but honestly, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Just able to go out there and run your race. And Ross Gage, I believe, is off the track right now. So let's take a look at Mr. Adam Wood. As I said, Adam's running one of those Miller Lite schemes as well. His is a black. Actually, that's not Miller Lite. That is Miller Genuine Draft. So I guess they aren't running Miller Lite schemes. They're running Miller schemes. So Adam Wood running in 22nd after that unfortunate incident near the beginning of the race. Still no Ross. It's saying he's on track, but I'm not seeing him. So let's take a look at Mr. Mike Burgess running in 22nd. I think he was the one that had the issue earlier with spinning and hit pit lane. So he is a few laps down now, but still out there fighting, which you love to see. And Cody Mitchell looks like he has left. So rough night for him. I guess he called it. And that's our field. So we'll go back up here to the front. As Blake Gordon's still our leader. But that gap he was starting to build up has shrank quite a bit. We'll cut here to the roll bar camera from Justin Anderson. About a half second back. Actually lost a little bit there, but at some point, these guys are getting close to having to do pit stops. Can't imagine that's terribly far off. We see here someone out of here, David and Joanna Martin, saying they hate to hear that about Cody Mitchell. He's their favorite driver. Get him next time, Cody. And that's how you got to treat it sometimes. You have some rough nights, and you just got to come back out. And we got perfect timing. We've got our first pit stop from one of the leaders. Also, no surprise here, it being Justin Anderson. Honestly, you start racing with these guys long enough, you start calling races with them in it, you start to see some tendencies. And Justin, he likes to short pit. I've seen it over and over out of him. He'll pit a little bit earlier than everybody else. So, and Blake Gordon coming in right after. Has a little bit of issue there, but no problem. He's hanging on. But again, no surprise there. Justin will take advantage, try to gain every little bit he can just by having a little bit shorter pit stop. Because we're looking at lap times right now. They were about a second slower. And Blake did not have a great position in his pit box that time. And for those at home watching, since we don't have real pit crews in iRacing, there aren't real people. Basically, how long your pit stop takes is partly influenced by how well you're positioned in your pit box. You want to be dead center with your truck straight, and Blake's isn't that great. And he is still sitting there. I am wondering if perhaps he was penalized. He must have been penalized because he is still sitting. So that is a huge disaster for our leader, Blake Gordon. Should say our former leader, as he now pulls off. That almost certainly was either an unsafe entry or a speeding penalty. So we'll take our current leader, Brandon Bernhardt. He's has not pitted yet. Just behind him, we've got Brian Mcfarren in second, Justin Rodden in third. Fourth is Teddy Weichel, and fifth, John Gordon. But these guys have to be coming soon, and it looks like... yep, there he is. Okay. I also suppose we don't have our track map. Let me see if I can force it to come up here for you guys. Apologies for that. There's our track map. So, and we'll switch it over here to show car numbers. Or sorry, car numbers. For some reason, it keeps switching back position. All right. So Teddy Weichel, Brian Mcfarren cycled out as the leader for a little bit. Now in the pits, Teddy Weichel is going to be our new leader until he pits. And, you may be thinking like, okay, well, I just said that tires. You come in pit, you're faster. You're able to undercut people. Why would you stay out at this point? And we can see that speed differential there is the 4 truck of Greg Juracio just kind of came out of nowhere, and he's a lap down, but he has fresh tires, and he's trying to fight to get that lap back. But the reason you'd stay out at this point is you hope that someone's going to have an incident, right? You hope that someone's going to come out in fresh tires, and they're going to make a mistake. And at this point, if you weren't one of those early guys to pit, why not stay out a little bit longer, see if that happens? Because if it does, you've got a few guys trapped a lap down. You come in the pit, cycle back out as the leader. And we're seeing Teddy Weichel likely coming in here now. Yep, there he is. So that's going to move up Tarik Shilling if he does not pit, but he is going to pit here. And actually, Tim St. Jean I said it earlier. He loves doing different strategies. And here he is once again. Tim St. Jean leading a race. But again, that speed differential. Look at the 14 truck of Chris Oliver there. Just gaining on him really fast and dives underneath him. And you get the 73 there as well of Justin Anderson, who him and Chris Oliver are not battling for position. Actually, Justin Anderson just took over the lead from Tim St. Jean there. So despite the fact that Tim has not pitted yet, he just lost the lead to someone who has. But, he's got a little bit extra fuel. I imagine he's going to stretch it a little longer because at this point, why not? But that does mean our new leader, Justin Anderson. And after all of that, where did Blake Gordon cycle out? He is currently running in 18th, 1 lap down. He'll actually be battling Chris Oliver for position once he gets to him. So that is a tough break for Blake Gordon. So our leader, Justin Anderson. In second, we have Joe Dinsmore. In third, Brandon Bernhardt. In fourth, Josh Laston. And in fifth, Andrew Burgess. I'm going to take just a moment here to hear from one of our sponsors, Guitar Addict.
For 20 years, the Guitar Addict has been your home for used and vintage guitars in the Daytona Beach area and at GuitarAddict.com. The Guitar Addict is your home for used and vintage guitars. Whether you're looking for that collector's piece or that beginner piece, they've got you covered. With names like Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Ibanez, Martin, Taylor, and much, much more, the Guitar Addict has all the guitars you need. And bass players, they haven't forgot about you. They've got all the top names. Amplifiers from Friedman, Victoria, Fender, Boss, and many, many more. They also have the largest selection of used pedals anywhere in the Southeast. The Guitar Addict, located at 1672.5 Ridgewood Avenue, just north of Flomish in Holly Hill, Florida. Also, check us out online at GuitarAddict.com.
All right, and we are back. That was one of my had to take a drink of water breaks. A lot of talking out here when you're doing a broadcast solo. Currently on board here with Kevin Moller, who is running in 8th. Got a whole lot of stuff going on in front of him there. Justin Ron, Brian Mcfarren, and I believe Andrew Burgess up there as well. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's essentially a lap car up in front of him. So, yeah, lots of you're gonna have a lot of people mixing up throughout the field with lap cars. Yeah, that's the 82 there directly in front of him. That's Mike Burgess as he's trying to get around him here. Got Chris Bissini here, still trying to work his way up after his mishap earlier. Running behind Kevin Moller, he's in 9th. This is our closest battle on track right now. As Chris Bissini is going to try to take over that 8th spot. Let's see what else we got going on through the field. How about? Well, we got Andrew Burgess there. A little bit behind Josh Laston. He is narrowing that gap on entry, but seems to be losing it quite a bit on exit. Laston is faster than him right now, so Laston and Brandon Bernhardt both actually throwing down some pretty competitive laps compared to our leaders. So they might be guys you want to keep an eye on tonight. Sort of dark horses, Josh Laston and Brandon Bernhardt. So let's go back here. Take a look at Brian Mcfarren, who's now working on Andrew Burgess. That wasn't a battle, but it is now. And we'll cut over here to our cockpit camera or helmet camera and see what the driver's seeing. And right now, what Brian Mcfarren is seeing is he's seeing Andrew Burgess directly in front of him, and that's a position he wants. And Josh Laston not far ahead of him. So We'll see here, run a lap around here with him and see, corner exit, that's a really smooth corner exit. You can see he's gaining quite a bit, but passing's going to be difficult here, and this is exactly how you want to do a pass. This is perfect. Perfect. That is textbook right there. And, Burgess may have realized he was the faster truck and pulled up and let him by, but that is exactly what you want to do, honestly, is try to get him on corner exit because, the alternative is to try to dive bomb someone, and not only will that make some enemies out here in a hurry, it also has the potential of ruining a race if you make contact with another driver. But, perhaps Burgess let him by purposefully because, Burgess is able now to tuck in behind and run cleanly here and not have to worry about fighting someone off that's directly behind him. All right, let's see who else we got out here. How about Mr. Tim St. Jean? Currently trying to catch up with Chris Oliver here, and this is where the tire strategy can be interesting because we saw that Tim stayed out longer than everyone else. Very long stint on the track, and now he has much fresher tires. Sure, he lost some positions, and you generally want to be able to gain positions on pit road. Like, that's the easy way to gain positions. But on the other hand, he's got fresher tires now, and he's going to be able to start passing people. And we see he makes that move for 16th place over Chris Oliver. And let's take a look here. This battle here is still going. Brian Mcfarren, Josh Laston just in front of him, Andrew Burgess just behind him. These guys still battling, and look, can't count out Justin Rodden either, who has just suddenly shown up and has inserted himself into this conversation. He's going to try to take advantage of the fact that these guys are battling. And what's interesting is, Rodden actually has fresher tires than Burgess. Burgess actually was one of the early guys to pit. He pitted on lap 34, and Brian Mcfarren in front of him pitted on 38. Justin Rodden just behind him pitted on lap 37. So those guys are going to be a little bit faster, and just missed this. But Brian Mcfarren making a move on Josh Laston. That is for 4th position. Similar situation. Josh Laston pitted at lap 34, has older tires, was able to gain those positions by pitting earlier. But now it's, the other side of the coin now. He's going to lose some positions just due to having older tires. We got Justin Rodden here making the move on Andrew Burgess. This is for the 6th position. And I'll tell you what, those guys are going to want to finish that up quickly. Because Chris Bissini, I've been watching his lap times. He is slowly creeping up on him. Still has a little bit of damage to the back of that truck. But actually, I would assume he took a fast repair earlier, so that's probably new damage. But Chris Bissini trying to work his way back into the conversation. And let's take a look at Blake Gordon, who had so much trouble. Did Chris Oliver have an issue there? Oh, man, it looks like he did, but he was able to save it. But Blake Gordon, man, I said that it was bad luck earlier. It was to a degree. But really, he messed up. He made a mistake. He was, had a speeding penalty. It's a mistake. Those happen. Rarely by someone like Blake Gordon, but what I have a feeling is going to happen here is Blake Gordon is going to try to do something different with a strategy. And what I think he is going to do, because he is, I believe, a lap down. Yes, he is a lap down. I think what his strategy here, what his play is, he can't short pit because he's not likely to get back on the lead lap on the track. His best strategy, I think, is to try to stay out as long as he can, hope for a caution and either get a lucky dog or wave around and get yourself back on the lead lap. That's really his only option at this point, I believe. But we'll see. I mean, this is a guy who was a front runner up until, you know, his issues. So will be exciting to see what happens. We'll be keeping an eye on it. But our leader, Justin Anderson, has built up a 2.5 second gap to second place, his teammate Joe Dinsmore. And I want to take a look here at pit strategy, because we are approaching that point. Now, I don't think you're likely to see guys pit far before lap 65, which we're approaching, because you want to make sure you can make it on fuel. More importantly, you want to be sure you can make it on green, white checkers if we have those. So I think at the very least, you're going to see guys like Justin Anderson stretch it here to at least lap 33, or sorry, 33 laps on this stint. And let's take a look here at his roll bar camera. Yeah, he's got mostly clean track in front of him. You know, a lot of times if you had guys up there battling side by side, you may want to pit a little bit earlier so you don't have to try to get around those guys. But right now, I mean, he can just go out there and kind of, you know, just run his race. And as long as nobody else tries a short pit on him, personally, I'd stay out there. I mean, you've got a 2.5 second lead. Actually, about 2.25 now. That gap is shrinking. You know, Joe Dinsmore there, still quite a sizable gap, but see, yeah, he's. I'm not used to this new paint scheme Justin Anderson's running, but yeah, you can see him there up in front of him. So Joe Dinsmore trying to narrow that gap down, try to get a win here. But I do think at some point you're going to see someone try to short pit here, because there are, you know, we've stayed green here for quite a while, and the field's kind of spread out. I mean, we've got, I mean, there are a few battles throughout. Let's actually cut back here. This is actually a pretty good battle. We got Burgess, who is still right there with Josh Laston. They've just kind of been right there together since that round of green flag pit stops. But Chris Bissini has caught up with them. And Bissini, I believe, has fresher tires. Well, not really. He's only about a lap fresher, but, you know, was fast. And Burgess here trying to make a move on Josh Laston. You know, wonder if Josh perhaps burned his tires up a little bit racing earlier in the run. But, yeah, Laston's going to lose his position to both Burgess and Bissini, it looks like, unless something changes. But Bissini, yeah, no issue with him. Laston moves up and politely lets him have the position. Very solid racecraft there out of Josh Laston. So we are starting to reach the point. The pit window has opened. Who's going to be the first to go on pit road? I am possibly missing some. Oh, there it is. There it is. We've got guys coming on pit road. Bissini and Laston both have come on the pit road. Those guys are teammates, so you would expect them possibly be coordinating on that, I would hope. So Laston here, we're going to watch his pit stop, watch him get off. Oh, and we've got Justin Anderson also coming down pit road. But, hey, those guys short pitting, I think that's a solid idea. Yeah, I think that's the best decision. But that's going to cycle out Brandon Bernhardt as our leader until he pits. Which, you know, I mean, he's got, you know, I believe, you know, we saw earlier he did 37 laps. Brian Mcfarren did 38. I think you can easily stretch it that long. It comes down to whether or not you want to. As it looks like he is. Yeah, I thought he was going to come in, but he decided not to. And but he has plenty of time here. There's no rush for him to come down pit road. He is obviously losing positions on track, but what he's trading it for is to have more control over his truck later in the race. And a lot of times that's nice, you know. You come out on your last stint, you don't have to worry about tire conservation or anything like that. You can come out and race. And then, of course, you've got Timothy St. Jean down there, who so far only has 26 laps on his tires. He can stretch it quite a while. And once again, the guy who I am not surprised about at all, Blake Gordon, running in 7th position right now. Of course, when he pits, that will all change. But really, what he is hoping for here is that there's a caution that'll come out. He wants one of those patented Blake cautions at this point. You know, if he wants any chance at winning this thing, he needs that to happen because, I mean, look, he's already behind Justin Anderson, Joe Dinsmore, who are on fresh tires. So, you know, there's nothing else he can do really other than to hope for a caution at this point. It's the right call. It's unfortunate that he made that mistake on pit road when the stakes were so high. When you consider how short the track is, and he is coming in now. So Blake Gordon giving up on that strategy, and unless something crazy happens, that will probably end his chances of winning tonight. Brandon Bernhardt also coming in, so that makes Mr. Brian Mcfarren our race leader, currently 16 seconds ahead of our second place runner of Justin Anderson. But I have to be thinking that Brian will be coming in soon. He's 33 laps on the stint. Looking like he might be coming right here. And he is. Oh! Caution is out. Caution is out. And we just caught that. That was Josh Laston. What happened? Let's take a look. Here he is working under Kevin Moller. That was bizarre looking. I'm not gonna lie. Let's take one more look. Let's actually go in his cockpit. Take a look at this because that was a little bit bizarre how that worked out. Oh, sorry for that, folks. We're here on the inside of Kevin Moller. Pinches him down a little bit, and it's just odd how he got loose. The way it broke loose, I was not expecting that. Yeah, I don't know if there was some net code at play there that perhaps thought he made contact with Moller, but man, fortunate that he landed right side up. So that worked out great, I believe, for Brian Mcfarren. We'll have to see. He was on pit road at the time, or was entering pit road. So I believe, you know, in spite of having his pit stop, let me take a look here. Pit lane time. So I think he may have just driven through in order to stay ahead of these guys, and he's probably going to come in the pit now. Is what I'm thinking, just based on what I'm seeing from his pit lane time, which is very fast. Yeah, here he is coming in now. So, very interesting situation and how that played out. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But we're back to where we were. Justin Anderson, our leader. That short pit working out for him again, but I guess relative short pit compared to some of the guys. But where this is going to hurt him now is I'm looking at Brandon Bernhardt sitting there in third. Brandon pitted 4 laps more recently than any of the guys in front of him. Joe Dinsmore, Justin Anderson. So, you know, he has fresher rubber than these guys. you know, that does make a difference on lap time. So this is possibly, outside of Blake Gordon getting his pit road penalty, this is possibly the biggest shakeup of the race. Because I think there's potential there that Brandon Bernhardt, you know, who will be starting in the second row, you know, might be able to do something here, might be able to make a race out of this. And we got Johnny Downey. So it looked like he was just steering away. Josh Lasson was just steering away, trying to keep off of him and got loose accelerating. I thought that was a possibility. It still looked a little odd to me. I'm not going to lie. It was, you know, you know, maybe it was just the timing of the whole thing, right? You know, it just could be a timing issue where it just happened to look like they were about to make contact, and then, yeah, it was an odd looking thing though, for sure. So our cars are gridded up here, and we've got 25 laps to go. Running through our top 5 real fast: Justin Anderson, Joe Dinsmore, Brandon Bernhardt, Chris Bissini, and I believe it is Andrew Burgess. Pace car pulls in, and Justin is off. Brandon Bernhardt right there behind him. You know, he's going to try to tuck in. He's not going to have enough. Oh, maybe he is. I wasn't sure that Brandon was going to be able to get in under Joe, but he's able to do it and is under him on exit as well. You know, Joe gets that run off the corner, but Brandon checked up quite a bit more than Joe there. Maybe just, you know, wasn't able to, you know, arc it for the entry, but Brandon doesn't have to worry about this right now. He has fresher tires. If he's able to take care of these things correctly, one would assume, you know, all other things equal, that he should be able to get around these guys. But first and foremost, he has to take care of his tires. So we'll keep an eye out and see what he's able to do. Is he's got pressure from Andrew Burgess right behind him. Andrew all over that bumper. I'm not sure. You know, Brandon might just be playing it real conservative right now, realizing that, you know, he has some potential to be able to do something with this race, and doesn't want to mess it up. You know, kind of racing to not lose versus going for a win. So, yeah, we'll have to see if he's able to do anything. But I want to cut back here as Brian Mcfarren making a move on Chris Bissini. You know, Brian Mcfarren just pitted. You know, when the caution came out, he was already on pit road. I assume drove through. Oh, Blake Gordon. Blake Gordon has crashed. Caution is out. Let's take a look, see what happened to Blake. On the outside of Tim St. Jean. Oh, Blake just tagged the wall a little bit. And I'm perhaps Tim braked earlier than he was expecting. Yeah, that's unfortunate there. I'm sure Blake was very frustrated about his issues. I'm not in any way saying that was intentional, of course, but I think there was absolutely some element of you know, trying to drive aggressively and get every position you can. But that's a tough break for Tim there. You know, he's got quite a bit of damage in the back of that truck. Was having a good, quiet race up until that. We got guys coming on pit road: Andrew Burgess, Chris Bissini, Kevin Moller, Teddy Weichel, Dan Witt. A lot of guys coming on. This is for the first few guys: Burgess, Bissini, who came on. And actually, we need to go live here. Sorry. For the first few guys that came on, so many people coming on pit road is a huge deal for them, because it means they will not have to work through as much of the field in order to fight for positions. Oh, Burgess has issues. Oh, man. I have been there before, man. Man, that sucks. So Burgess has issues on pit road. Yeah, this could work out really well for these guys. You know, now they are going to have tires that are quite a bit fresher than just about anybody in front of them. Not just about. I mean, you know, look. I mean, Chris Bissini, you know, just pitted lap 81. Greg Girasio in front of him, lap 67. Tim St. Jean, 74, 74, 74, 70, 71, 67. So, sure, a lot of those laps were caution laps. So, the number of green flag laps on those tires, not huge. But I do think these guys are going to gain some positions here. I think this gamble's going to pay off. Whether or not it's going to get them a win, I'm not so sure about that. They got quite a bit of the field to get through and just 18 laps to do it. But I think that you could be talking about guys that could be contending for a top 5 here, who otherwise may not have been. So while we have a break here, let's take a look, make sure some pace car still on. Let's hear a quick word from the AOLL.
The AOLL Racing League began racing in the early 90s with Papyrus's NASCAR Racing and has grown over the decades, now racing on the iRacing platform. The AOLL has 3 divisions: the TNT Series Developmental Division for our beginners and those getting back into racing, the Cup Series for our veterans and Class A licensed drivers, the Sportsman Division racing the Gander outdoor trucks with drivers from the TNT and Cup Series. You can catch all of the AOLL action here on Ghostfire Media.
And we are back. Lights on the pace car are off. So we will be going green this next time by with our top 10. Justin Anderson, Joe Dinsmore, Brandon Bernhardt, Justin Rodden, Brian Mcfarren, Tarik Shilling, Tim St. Jean, Greg Girasio, Chris Bissini, and Chris Oliver. We'll try to find a good camera for this. Oh, the camera's here, great. Let's try TV1 here, see how that does. Oh, actually, maybe. And we're off. Justin Anderson, once again, a pretty early jump, and Brandon Bernhardt right there as well, and kind of playing off just like our last restart, but this time Brandon's able to get a little bit more in front of Joe Dinsmore. See if he's going to be able to hold that position as we're going to take a look here at the roll bar camera of Joe Dinsmore. You know, we see that he has Justin Anderson just in front of him. I'm hoping to see Brandon Bernhardt peek in here, but it looks like he is not going to this time. Brandon's just having trouble making that pass. He's getting there and then just stalling out a little bit, but looks like he has it now. Brandon Bernhardt able to get around Joe Dinsmore. Now he can set his sights on the lead and Justin Anderson. But Joe Dinsmore not giving up yet. We wouldn't expect him to. Fighting back here, trying to stay right on that bumper. And look, Justin's wanting these guys to battle. Like, hey, guys, what happened to side-by-side? Like, go back to doing that. Joe gets a huge run there on the entry of 1, but I thought he was going to hit him, but he did not. And going to briefly take a jump back here to Chris Bissini. He is the top car with those fresh tires, and looking at lap times, not able to do a whole lot with them so far, honestly. Currently running about the same pace as the guys around him, so those tires not making much of a difference for Chris Bissini and the others behind him that pitted. So right now, it is all Justin Anderson. As we see Joe Dinsmore get back around Brandon Bernhardt. Man, these guys are going at it. Brandon, once again, fighting back on the inside. You would expect that inside position to win out, but man, Joe is making that outside line work. Once again, Brandon, and then Joe's going to cross him over just like that. Joe slips in underneath him. Honestly, I've been in Brandon's position before, and in that situation, I'm never sure if I'm fuming mad or if I'm just impressed. And when I say fuming mad, I'm not saying that Brandon's mad at Joe, but usually when something like that happens, I'm mad at myself. I'm very angry that I let that happen. So Brandon Bernhardt falls back to third again. And we're seeing, those guys battling it out. It's caused a bit of a hold up there. A lot of those other guys able to catch up. And Justin Anderson pulling away from the field. At this point, unless Chris Bissini or, Chris Bissini, Kevin Moller, Dan Witt, those guys with fresher tires, unless they can get up there into second position, and I don't know that anybody else can chase Justin Anderson down. He's still laying the fastest laps on the track. We'll see this time by if Joe Dinsmore's able to get a more competitive time now that he's not battling. Joe Dinsmore actually a little bit faster than Justin Anderson there. So, yeah, I mean, let's see if we can get that's actually a pretty good one. Let's take a look at that. So that's measuring our gaps from lap 86 to lap 91. See the gap kept growing, and then shrunk a little last time by, and we'll see this time grew a little bit more for Justin Anderson. So I kind of hate it when I'm calling a race like this, and I say, well, it looks like Justin Anderson's going to win. But until someone can prove me wrong, I think Justin Anderson's going to win this race. I don't see anyone, who's making any sort of gains here. The gap continues to grow. Justin Anderson's just, like he's out there for a Sunday drive right now. Huge difference that lap. I'm wondering if Justin's listening to the broadcast right now, and he knows I've got my little graph pulled up, and he's like, okay, well, I'll put on a show for Carl and the viewers out there. So maybe he's gonna try to see how big he can make the gap. I'm not sure, but over 2 seconds now. Justin Anderson pulling away, and we're gonna have 5 to go here. We're still 6 to go, I believe. I thought it would be 5 to go there. But that gap, I mean, that's, yeah, I think 2 second gap, unless Justin makes a mistake, he's going to win this race, I believe. We'll wait and see here as we have 5 to go. See if we can find a battle here we can take a look at somewhere else in the field. How about Kevin Moller here working on Justin Rodden? This is for the 6th position, I believe. Yeah, this is for 6th. So Kevin Moller on those fresher tires trying to get by Justin Rodden. Let's take a look at his cockpit camera. Take a look here as he's riding around behind Justin Rodden. See where he's going to try to make this pass. He's riding around there, going a little high. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Oh, but he might be trying to. Oh, yeah, look at that. He's going to try to get a run exiting the corner. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're kind of in a situation where you're trying to just find something that works. Because with 4 to go, Justin Rodden's not just going to pull off and let him have it. So as those guys continue battling, 3 to go. I will come back to the leader in just a second, but I want to take a look here. These guys, Dan Witt, Greg Juracio, Teddy Weichel, Andrew Burgess there as well. Those guys battling for 9th through 11th. Got a lot of guys right there battling, so we'll see how that cycles out for them. But as we're getting up to the end of the race, I want to cut back to our lead. Brandon Bernhardt is able to get around Joe Dinsmore finally, and has built up a bit of a gap and is currently narrowing that gap. If we take a look at our time deltas, that gap is getting smaller. Now, Justin Anderson may be conserving a little bit, but regardless of how much smaller that gap's getting, there's not much Brandon can do here other than hope for a mistake. He's just got to go out there, run a clean race, try to get his second place, which will advance him, help advance him in the playoffs. And white flag is out. Justin Anderson coming around turn number 2, exiting turn 2 now and entering the back stretch. And we're entering turn 3 one more time here. Exiting turn 4, making sure there's going to be no issue on this tricky corner. No issue for Justin Anderson. He will win at the Milwaukee Mile. Justin Anderson now has a guaranteed ticket to the round of 6 in the AOLL Sportsman Series. What a great finish to that race. We had some great green flag racing right in the middle. Some cautions at the end that created some drama. What a great race. That was incredible. See a little bit of bumping there with Joe Dinsmore and Brandon Bernhardt. I'm not sure if that's friendly bumping or if there's some anger there. Let's take a look at our results. In first, Justin Anderson. In second, Brandon Bernhardt. In third, we have Joe Dinsmore. And in fourth, Brian Mcfarren. Fifth, Chris Bissini. And sixth, Justin Rodden. Seventh is Kevin Moller. And in eighth, Tarik Shilling. Ninth is Greg Jurasio. And in 10th, Dan Witt. 11th is Teddy Weichel. And in 12th, Andrew Burgess. 13th is Tim St. Jean. And in 14th, Blake Zede. 15th, we have Chris Oliver. And in 16th, Blake Gordon. 17th, Josh Laston, and 18th, Ed Springer. 19th, we have John Gordon, and in 20th, David Naughton. 21st, we have Adam Wood, and in 22nd, Mike Burgess. In 23rd, we have Ross Gage, and in 24th, Cody Mitchell. So let's go ahead and bring up our race winner, which will require me to join our Discord channel first, which I forgot to do. Grab Justin Anderson here. Nope, that did not work. Let's try it one more time. Hey, Justin, it's Carl in the booth. Get a copy?
Yes, I do, and it's great to hear your voice, sir.
Oh, that's great to hear. Hey, man, great race. First thing I wanted to ask you about is paint scheme. What was the deal with that?
We're in Milwaukee, so that's a beer town. So I had to represent, yo.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we had three Miller schemes out there. Was that something you guys coordinated?
It is possible there was discussion beforehand. I won't go so far as to say conspiracy, but
I hear you, man. Hey, that was a great race for you tonight. After Blake Gordon had his issues, you just sort of, I think, outside of the pit cycles, I think you led every lap. So tell us about your race tonight.
So this is actually one of the best races I've put together in a really long time. I really was disappointed to see Blake have the speeding on pit road, and it's actually probably my fault because right before the race we were talking about Blake and like what makes him so good, and I was like, in addition to being fast, Blake never makes a mistake. So it's kind of like the commentator's curse. I think that's my fault that he just sped on pit road. It is disappointing, though, because I would have really enjoyed to race him. This was the first. I'm not a flat track specialist. Typically, that's Joe and Blake's territory, and Brandon actually won at Gateway also. So I was looking forward to the opportunity to race him because I felt like I was competitive this time around. So although I'm thrilled to have the race that I had, it just feels a little bit cheap.
No, I know that feeling. Although, to be completely honest, I mean, I've said many times in the TNT series that I feel like Brandon Bernhardt just never makes mistakes. So I would be okay with a cheap win tomorrow in the TNT series if Brandon wants to go and make a mistake.
Well, my fingers crossed for you, sir.
I'll let Brandon know when I pull him in next that you want him to have some bad luck.
Tell him I want to choke harder than he's ever choked in his entire life. And you say that verbatim.
Okay, I will do that. So, one of the things we saw, and you see a lot of times with any race that has, a lot of green flag racing, we saw a lot of pit strategy come into play. And on that first green flag pit cycle, you were one of the first to pit. I was not surprised at all because I've seen it over and over and over again. You be one of the first guys to pit. Is that something you came into, or let me rephrase that. Is that something generally you plan on doing, that you want to be the guy who short pits, or are you just kind of feeling it out and saying, well, nobody else is pit, so I guess I'll do it?
No, I feel it out as the race goes on. So I pitted on, I think on lap 33, which broke the race up into 3 full segments. But as the run wore on, now keep in mind, I don't know how hard Blake was running. My experience is that usually Blake is like a 100% every lap type of person, but I had closed the gap up. I was like 2/10 behind him. But knowing Blake, he's really difficult to pass because he never chokes off a turn 4 and gets loose and has to lift. So I was like, really, the undercut was the only thing I could think of. The second run, I actually considered staying out longer so that I didn't have an opportunity to get trapped a lap down. But when I looked at how spread out the field was at that point, I was like, if I pit, I'm not going to go a lap down, so it won't matter. And that's actually what ended up happening. So no, pit strategy, sometimes as a team, we talk about how far you can go on fuel or, what the tire wear looks like. But usually the strategy is just how the race plays out in that moment.
I got you. So you have a win tonight. That's going to guarantee you a ticket to the next round.
Thank God.
Does, next week we're at
Homestead, my favorite track.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I usually write out our schedule, and I forgot to put that up there. So does this change your mindset going into that race at all? Or are you going to treat it differently than you would have if you had not won tonight?
I think my approach will be the same. I'll probably be more mindful of the other chasers who aren't locked in yet. I don't want to be the reason that someone else doesn't make it, if that makes sense. But Homestead is literally my favorite track in this game. And I think I finished first or second there every race in this league. So I was looking forward to it, but I didn't want it to have to be a must-win situation. So I'm grateful I can go in there relaxed and not feel any pressure. I'm hoping that leads to me not making mistakes and being able to run up front.
I got you. Okay. Well, we'll see you next week. I think that is going to be a very intense race with guys trying to work their way into the round of 6. But, hey, congratulations to you tonight. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for the broadcast.
All right, and that was Justin Anderson. Let's bring up Mr. Brandon Bernhardt. Hey, Brandon, it's Carl in the booth. Get a copy?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, man. Hey, that was a really good race for you tonight. I was watching you there. Knew after that last caution that you had, actually the last 2 cautions, you had fresher tires than the guys in front of you, and I thought you were going to have a really good run and possibly have a chance at a win here, but seemed like you had a tough time getting around Joe Dinsmore. Talk us through that.
Yeah, and Justin, Joe, and Blake were all faster than me. I learned that first run is pretty evident. I felt good enough for top 5. And then we got that last caution and saw Andrew and Bissini from behind me pit. I was like, I probably should have went in there. How those tires are going to get him up to the front. I saw Bissini, I think, got to 4th or 5th.
You get the 5th.
So he was faster than me, so probably smart for me to stay out. But yeah, Joe was faster. I had a little bit fresher tires. He made a little mistake. I got underneath him, got around him. Then I made a mistake. He got back around me, and then he slipped again. And I got back around him. So both of us just make mistakes, kind of let that happen. I was maybe catching Justin there at the end, but he was faster. And if I would have got to him, I doubt I would have got around him.
Yeah, you were definitely catching him. I think you shaved off about a half second in those closing laps. But I want to ask, at one point, I can't remember how many laps it was, but you got around Joe on the inside, and then he crossed you over. And I made a comment about how I feel when I have that done to me, and I can never decide if I'm, like, furious with myself or just impressed that they pulled that off. And I'm curious what your mindset is when someone is able to cross you over like that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, especially at this track, because you know when you pinch it down on exit like you have to make the crossover. I did a little bit similar later when I got around him. It gets really loose, so you have to be careful you don't spin it. So definitely on a track like this, it's pretty impressive when you can pull off the crossover like that.
So going into next week, you know, you've got a second place here tonight. I think you were in a pretty solid place points-wise, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look here. So coming into this race, you were 7th, so just outside the top 6. But this should move you up. If we're talking about like a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is super passive and 10 is extremely aggressive, how are you treating next week?
Where are we at? You know?
Homestead.
Oh, gonna play it pretty conservative. You know, I'm not very good at Homestead, so I gotta try to find some speed. You know, I got a little lucky today. A couple of the chase guys ahead of me had trouble. I think Adam had trouble. I'm not sure where Josh finished, but he's farther back last I saw.
Yeah.
Andrew had issues, so got a little bit of lucky there, and I got a lap lead. It'll help. And the second's really nice, coming off of 11th last week. So still a little nervous about it just because of the track we're going to, but I think as long as I'm just smart and I don't beat myself, I think I get a good shot.
All right. Well, we'll see you out there next week. Final race in this round. So we'll see what you can do out there. See if you're able to advance.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for broadcasting this tonight, and look forward to running you tomorrow if you're racing.
Yeah, I will absolutely, probably, maybe be there. We'll see.
All right. Look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
All right, and we're gonna get just a quick word here from Joe as we're running out of time, but let's talk to Joe. Hey, Joe, it's Carl up in the booth. Got a copy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, pretty quiet race for you tonight. You were, you know, solidly in second after Blake Gordon had his issues there. I mean, you were just kind of cruising along behind your teammate, but man, heck of a battle between you and Brandon Bernhardt there at the end. You know, Brandon had fresher tires. He said during his interview that you were definitely faster than he was. But what was that battle like from your perspective?
It was a lot of fun. You know, I mean, it did hurt watching Justin slide away because I had speed on Justin on the older tires, and but I mean, I don't know if I could have passed Justin though. But man, you know, it was a lot of fun going back and forth with him, and you know, I burned up my tires having to my older tires having to hold them up, and then trying to get by him, and I finally got by him, and then when I slid up on that corner there, that was it. The tires just gave out, so I had no chance from that point on getting back unless he made a really big mistake. He made a slight little, you know, mistake. I don't know what corner it was, but it wasn't enough for me to catch him. But all in all, you know, it was a lot of fun having to battle him out. Those fresh tires, man, I didn't realize it until I looked at my telemetry and noticed that he pit much earlier than me, because it didn't. It was like, I wonder why Brandon is like keeping up with me. Once I got by him, I was like, crap, he's got fresher tires than I do. So
yeah, well, you know, this was a solid run for you tonight. You know, I know you had some trouble last week, so this should help you out in the point standings. What do you think you have to do next week in order to advance to the round of 6?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where I am in the points, so.
Yeah, they haven't been updated yet. You were in 9th, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just stay in the top 5. I mean, where are we going? Homestead, right?
Homestead, that's correct.
Yeah. I mean, that's a semi-strong track for me because it's one of those tracks where tire wear does become a thing where, you know, people overheat their tires, and I'm hoping that you know, I can bring out the truck and land a top 5 and try not to make any big mistakes or do anything super risky. I'm probably not going to shoot for the win. If I get the win, it's luck at that point, and just doing a points night mainly, because it's all going to reset after the next race.
Right. All right. Well, hey, great run tonight, Joe. We'll look forward to watching you race next week.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for doing the broadcast, and everybody else that watches, and have a great night.
Thanks, Joe. All right, that was Joe Dinsmore, our third-place finisher. And before we wrap up here tonight, I want to tell you about all of the exciting action we have going on the Ghostfire Media Network. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we have the AOLL TNT Series as they're taking on Sonoma. I'm going to be completely honest with you, folks. I've run some laps there in this ARCA car. I have a feeling this race is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a beautiful disaster. And you'll probably see me riding through the grass, well, I guess dirt, quite a bit. So tune in if you want to see that. Friday night, 8 p.m., as usual, the GFM podcast. We'll have some guests on. We'll have a few drinks. We'll have some fun, talk about what's been happening in the league and in racing in general. Sunday night at 8 p.m., the AOLL Cup Series. It's race 2 of the round of 8 at Chicagoland. And then Monday night at 9 p.m., the Jeff Hill Trailer Sales Fuel Premier Series has their first race of the finals at Road Atlanta. Tuesday night at 7 p.m., the IVRL Butt Kicker Series takes on Martinsville in the final race of the round of 8. And then 1 week from today, Wednesday night at 8 p.m., I'll be back here presenting the final race of the round of 12 in the AOLL Sportsman Series at Homestead. So, on behalf of myself and the entire Ghostfire Media crew, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you here again very soon.